Two golfers, two players who hit the ball the same distance, 305 yards. One has back pain, the other swings body friendly. We're looking at Justin Thomas today and how his swing is destroying his back. And JT, if you get this message, please, you have to look at your swing differently than you've always seen it. We're talking about the difference between a vertical swing and a horizontal swing. What's shredding your back right now is your downswing. You get your arms very high above your shoulder at the top of the backswing. And because of this, you need to reroute the club down into what people call the slot. Get that club in the slot so you can deliver the club powerfully to the ball on the correct path from here to the ball. So that's the proper in to out swing path that we're all taught to get on. Well, unfortunately, when you have your arms so high, to get the club in the slot requires a huge lower body thrust. So you're throwing your hips toward the target, you're turning your hips, and this puts your back in a precarious position. Your spine gets very steep to the ground, and this is just ripping up your lower back. Just put yourself in that position for a second. Anybody will feel tightness and tension in that lower half. And you're doing that while swinging the club over 115 miles an hour. Just imagine what that's going to do day in and day out playing PGA Tour golf. It's inevitable. Your back is going to get shredded. Shredded like fine cheddar cheese. Now the player on the left is Charles Howell III. And he's a great example because he does the powerful, simple, body-friendly swing that I teach. Actually, one of my colleagues is currently teaching him right now. And you look at his exit position through the ball and note the difference in what their spines look like. If you had to pick a position to be in, which one would it be? Do you want to be in JT's position where this spine is racked, tilted more to the ground? Or would you rather be in Charles Howell's position where he looks like he's just relaxing through impact? Just chilling there, man. And if I told you you'd hit the ball the same distance, which one would you pick? Well, I'm going with the one that's easier on the back and not feeling like so much tension. So picking Charles Howell's swing. Now let's take a brief look at Charles Howell's swing. And I'll show you why he doesn't have to go through that amount of back stress. So at the top, we've got lower arms right here. So Charles doesn't have to do a huge drop into the slot like JT does. There's JT. Let's see where JT drops to. He's going to get down to here. So he's got to do this big reroute. Charles is going to go much more right back to the ball. Look at that. Ooh. Sometimes things are saucier than you initially think. That is a very simple right back to the ball with the hands. Let's do a nice little orange for that. It looks good. The lesson here, folks, is that the more you have to reroute, the more your lower body is going to contort and twist and have to compensate in the form of a lower back pain, a la JT. So JT, if you're watching this video, I've got the solution for you at the end. I want you to continue playing golf. I enjoy watching you play. I don't want to see you sidelined. So Charles is going right back to the ball on a much more direct path with the hands. And because of this, he doesn't have to do any spine contortions. So what needs to happen for JT to get his spine in a much better post-impact position? First thing is, let's lower those hands, man. And here's how I do it in your swing. So let's get those hands in this lovely orange circle on your shoulder line. Once you're there, you can go here. That's your downswing path, your new downswing path. Top is reroute. You're going to see a ton of benefits from doing this. The first one is obviously more body friendly. 2, you're going to have a much easier stopping point. Lower arms at the top. Look at Charles on the left. He's got a better connection of his arm against his side. So this loads your trail arm for more speed with a shorter backswing. So you're swinging faster with less effort. Charles Howell over here, by the way, he's 46 years old. He's hitting at 305. He's hitting at the same distance as you, but he's like 14 years older. So it's a timeless, body-friendly, powerful swing. So when you start down, you don't have to do this huge hip thrust turn move. Do you see that right knee kicking in toward the ball? It's an aggressive hip turn, lateral hip move later. You can see at impact, the spine is compressed and the hips are pushing a lot toward the target. If you just drive a ton of hips targetward too much, you're going to feel lower back pain. Charles Howell, when we get nice and low, you're not seeing a huge hip thrust. You're just seeing this beautiful looking rotation. The hips move forward, but they're not moving like you're moving them. And this means you have a little bit of a contact issue. If you're in JT's position, you're going to struggle with big blocks and hooks, because the more you push those hips forward, the more it swings the path out to the right. And if you hook the ball, you're swinging too much into out. And one huge problem with golfers who decide to engage in this lower back huge hip thrust maneuver, we have to look at contact. Your ability to strike the ball first and take a divot after is incredibly important. It's foundation to everything. You know, you miss that club face just a little bit and you're losing 8% of your distance. You miss it on the heel or toe, you're losing 14% of your distance. If you hit it fat or thin, you're losing like 30, 40, 60% of your distance. You can't afford to hit all over the face and all over the place at the highest level of competition. JT's swing relies more on timing, because if you look at his spine tilt here at address, that's his relationship to the ball. He needs to keep this throughout the swing if he wants to strike the ground in the same spot every time with his irons and hit the center of the face with a driver. When he gets to the top, he keeps it. Excellent. But here's the problem with the vertical swing. The hip protrusion contortion move changes his spine tilt aggressively down. So now he's in a new position. Look at that. He's steepening the shoulder angle in order to shallow the club, and he has to hit the ball solid, so he's getting lower to the ground, and then he's swinging a lot toward the left. Low to the ground and turning the hips. That's what he has to do because his arms are so high. But back to the guy who's swinging casually, cool casual in a hot tub, Charles Howell III. He keeps his tilt at the top, and on the way through, you're going to see him keep the same tilt right there. That spine is not going through all these huge contortions. If you're a golfer thinking about which way you want to swing the club at any age for the rest of your life, if you're picking a swing that causes your body to go through JT on the right, that type of stress, and JT is not the only one. I could reference other players. Neiman is even more severe than JT. You see a lot of talk on YouTube about the swing being vertical, and the modern swing, get the arms higher and then leverage the ground and use the ground. And here we got two guys of identical driving distance. If given the choice, do the one that takes less effort, because you don't want to go through surgeries on your back. You don't want to be sidelined from golf. So JT, my man, you're going to be a more consistent player by adopting a lower hands backswing. Get like cool Charles Howell III, cool ranch dressing. Get rid of this S posture. This is, you're sticking your butt out. I remember this back in the good old days. They told us stick your butt out. You feel a lot of load when you get to the top of your backswing. Yeah, you feel your back getting blown up. So let's take away the S posture and get something a little bit more relaxing. Look at CH3. A rounding, gentle rounding. That's just natural spine. It's like a nice little comfortable. And you swing feeling comfortable that way. It's beautiful. You don't feel the effort. That little S posture here, it's called S because it goes back, it connects, there's the S, is restricting your lower body's ability to turn in the backswing, and it's causing a lot of tension on your knees, hips, and lower back. So by getting the hands lower at the top, you're gonna see, get those hands in there, you're gonna see better hip turn, less stress on the knees and hips, and certainly less stress on your back in the backswing and in the downswing. Oh man, what a difference. Do you guys sense that golf today is getting a little overcomplicated? Like the new stuff that's coming out is really hurting people's backs. I don't think people are aware of golf's big problem right now being that it's no longer body friendly in today's modern swing landscape. And people are just doing way too much. Charles Howell here doesn't need to think about nearly as many moves or coordinate as many moves as JT. If I was to put Charles Howell's swing into one swing thought, and I've done that on my channel, there are tons of videos talking about the power of the shoulders. Charles Howell sets his tilt at address, that's his spine, and then he focuses on turning his shoulders around his spine in a circle like this. And I'm not trying to scale, I'm trying to get it 90 degrees. Come on, Tom, get your art skills. There we go. Just focus on turning those shoulders around the spine, and your body works. It rotates. Everything works around this fixed point. And then back on the downswing, you do the same thing. Turn those shoulders back the other way. Look at that. Boom. Turning in a circle. Oh, right here. Sorry. Turn those shoulders in a circle right there. Everything turning a circle. Backswing, downswing. Versus JT changing his swing circle. Let's have Tom draw art class. Circle around his spine. It's not a good rendering. Let's do it like this. That's better. And then right here, the circle's different. It's too steep. Ouch, 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 ouch. A lot of guys getting here. Sam Bennett, you guys remember him from the Masters? He got even steeper. He was 90 degrees to the ground with his shoulders. That's spelling back disaster. Adopt a simpler shoulder mechanism. You don't have to think, in JT's case, it's going to be, I'm taking the club back, I'm turning my hips a little bit, now I'm lifting my arms high, lift the arms high. Okay, now I realize I got to get slotted, bro. So I'm going to slot the thing here. That's a move. You got to coordinate that. And then fire the hips That's another one. Turn the hips hard. Coordinate, coordinate, time, time. Very difficult. Taxing. Charles Howell III, we do a couple of setup pieces, and then we turn the shoulders in a circle around our spine. So it's more connected, meaning the hands, arms, shoulders all trace the same path going back. Trace the club along that same path. It's repeatable. You don't have to go lifting. When you lift, your club traces many different paths. So we don't have to do that. When you get connected with those arms, you can swing the club on the same path again and again. And then Charles takes it back the other way. He simply sends the shoulders back the other way. The club, arms, hands follow on a direct path back to the ball. If you're tired of dealing with a confusing swing that involves many different pieces, like I was when I got my start. In fact, I hurt my back at the age of 18 doing these traditional vertical swing, modern swing moves. And it was only when I adopted the Charles Howell III concepts here on the left that the stress came off my back. I picked up more driving distance. My swing is repeatable now, and I strike it crispy almost every single time. If you're looking to make that kind of shift in your game and go from a complicated swing into a powerful 1-2 swing, check out my crispy contact system at the link in the description and comments below. The crispy contact system is a 2-step swing. You set up the machine, you learn to swing the machine in 2 moves, and then you get crispy contact. And you follow that training program over the course of a few months to see rapid transformation in your golf game. So think of it as being like a 1-2 for Charles Howell versus JT's 1-2 lift, 3 start down, 4 fire the hips, and then 5 release the hands. What swing are you gonna pick? Let me know in the comments below.